Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to continue with a series of videos I started, which is some tips about JavaScript that most beginners don't know. Now let me introduce my settings. Our basic settings: we have an HTML page called test.html, in which I've included a script, script3.js, and this is script3.js that has a basic function that greets somebody with a parameter given the person's name. So I'm going to talk about 4 tips today. Let's start with the first one. Is initializing function variables. Now we can look at this function properly. It's just a function that say that just prints out somebody's name. I can add something like this: hello. Hello the name, so that we greet the person. So if I refresh this page, you see hello Jackson. Okay, now you can initialize a variable, a parameter of a function with something like this. Like if I write John, that means if I don't give a parameter to this function, it's going to automatically greet John. Now I'm calling this with Jackson, so it's going to, let me refresh the page, it's going to greet Jackson. But if I call this function without providing a parameter, it's going to greet John, because we initialize this function with John. That's the first thing. The second thing I'm going to talk about is returning. In fact, is you can use return in functions without precising what to return. For example, now let's talk about this same function. Let's stay here for a minute. If I wanted to greet somebody whose age is above 18, so let me change the function a little bit. I'm greeting somebody, and I'm passing the age as a parameter. And if I wanted to greet somebody whose age is above 18, I will do something like this. Okay, I'm going to do something like this. If your age is above 18, I'm going to greet you. Else, I just return. So I'm going to call this function with let's say 34. Now refresh. It greets you hello. That's normal. I can remove. I don't have a variable name. Let me just get rid of this one. Now if I give it with something that is less than 18, it doesn't greet as expected. So the return without precising what you're returning permits you to quit the function. And what happens behind the scenes? Behind the scenes, what happens is that it returns undefined. Yeah, it returns undefined. Like for example, if I call this function and allocate it into a variable, like let me just call that variable TMP, temporal variable. So I can check, let me just alert, let me just check the type of variable. That's it. What's TMP? Now you will notice that TMP is just undefined. Yeah, so it's the same way as saying return undefined. Sorry, like this. So writing return without precising anything is the same way as writing undefined. That's what happens behind the scene. That's why in line 12, when I check the variable, it said the type of variable is undefined. Okay, the third thing I'm going to talk about today is returning the source code of a function. Okay, now let me change a little bit this greeting function. Let me just print 2 things inside. Let it be a function that just alerts something, like hello brother and hello sister. Let me refresh the page. Hello brother and hello sister. Now it works perfectly well. Like if I alert the function, without putting the parentheses. Like I learned name of the function. Now be careful, look at what's gonna happen. I refresh the page, it gives the source code of the function, it gives what's inside. So there's a difference between calling it with the parenthesis and without the parenthesis. Without the parenthesis, it's just returning the source code. So that means I can do something like this. Let me initiate the variable, like let me just call the variable salute. Let salute be equal to greetings. Like, let me just call it without putting the parentheses. So what's going to happen is going to take the source code of this function greetings and put it into salute, such that I can also call the function like this. So line 8 is like copying the source code of the function and putting it into salute, and 9 it's calling the function via the salute variable. So if I refresh the page, you see it's hello brother and hello sister. Now this is different from this. If I put the parenthesis in line 8, it is going to send into salute the result of executing the function, which is quite a different thing behind the scene. So something to be very careful about. And the last thing I'm going to talk about today is something that's weird, that I personally never use it. It's called arrow functions. Now let me just stick to our greetings function. Now this is the same as like we can declare this function in another way, in a way specific to JavaScript, which is another manner of defining function. We call it the arrow definition. So let me rewrite this greetings function using the arrow definition way of defining functions in JavaScript. Now let me just call it function greetings 2. Hello brother, hello sister. So you can see it works just like the one up. I never use it this manner because it doesn't look like very well readable for me. And I can do also something like let me try to do the same thing, printing a variable. Let's do it like it was done before. Maybe we send somebody's name as a parameter. So this is how we're going to define it in the arrow form. So now, how do I call it? Greetings 2, passing John. If I alert it, you can see it gives exactly the same thing. So these are just 4 points I wanted to talk about JavaScript hints and hacks and some small secrets that most beginners don't know. I hope this has been very informative, and stay tuned, subscribe, and see you on the next video for other tricks. Now, thank you.